Inevitably, whenever you're talking about creating content and talking about camera gear, someone will always say, oh, why don't you just use your phone? The thing is, it's kind of annoying to use the phone because despite all the tech specs, the good camera is obviously on the back of the phone. And until they come out with a phone that has a screen embedded in the back, something like this is really going to be the only thing that'll make using your phone feasible, at least in my opinion. Oop, it's mirrored. Gotta do one of these. Double flip. Now we're facing the same way. These wireless phone screens, they've been around for close to 2 years, but I'd say they really only got popular over the past 6 months. And you can really tell that because SmallRig made their own version and they don't really make monitors or anything. So it's probably getting to be pretty popular. Obviously, as a video guy, I use a ton of SmallRig stuff. You probably use a ton of SmallRig stuff yourself. I may actually use this as my second angle while I'm talking about this. And because I trust SmallRig and I'm very, very familiar with the quality of their stuff, I decided to pick one up to try it out. Now, I'm a person who regularly uses these monitors. I use my phone for a ton of video, not just for content creation, but oftentimes for second angles and overhead angles, especially with these monitors. It's so much easier to set up than like a Shinobi or a Ninja or something and running a wire down and whatever the case is. And it's also infinitely more reliable than trusting the connection between a camera that would be overhead and the Wi-Fi signal it sends to your phone through whatever the native app is, which the majority of them are terrible, let's be honest here. So when these screens came out, it was a pretty easy decision for anyone to pick up. Instead of picking up something like the Canon V1 that I'm filming on right now, there it is, which costs 900 bucks plus an SD card, plus like a microphone, plus, and it's something that you're not 100% sure you're going to keep doing. This entire kit costs $65. $70, $71 with tax and everything in the US as of today. I don't know if tariffs are going to go up 4,000% in the week. None of us do. And the small rig version is better than pretty much everything else on the market, with one exception, and that might be like an Omar thing, but we'll get to that a little later. All right, so let me break this whole thing down. I'm a guy, I raw dog the world with my phone, unless I have to use a lens case. So here's the monitor itself. Here's my little ND thing for anyone wondering. So my phone rig, my most standard phone rig is the phone, the JJC magnet, like MagSafe ND holder, which here, that's it, it's done. You know, that it's just the ease of use is there. And then let me see if you can see it. I've got a Pro Mist filter and a variable ND filter. And this does a pretty good job shooting in the Blackmagic app. So when I'm out in the wild and I want to take video, like especially doing interviews or something at an event, pretty much have three lenses at my disposal: the 24 mil, the 13 mil, and then the telephoto. So you'll see me around taking video like this, adjust for exposure, and you get a really good looking image. You use whatever microphone that you want. Everyone's going to use the DJI mics. Currently, I'm testing these Godox microphones that I'll be doing a video on next month. And then having the three different lenses gives you a lot of variety. Like, I'll say it right now, I have Sammark lenses and they are really good, but it's just an extra thing. What's the one glaring issue you have is you can't see yourself. So what you would do is go to the 13 mil, the 0.5x lens. You'd hit play, you'd hope that you were exposed, and that's the end of that. But now you put these monitors on and, you know, you can see yourself pretty well. You don't have to go with my phone setup, and mine does negate some aspects of the kit that it comes with, but we'll talk about all of that. So this kit comes with this mount, the monitor, obviously, and this telescopic extending mini tripod that packs down really light and has an adjustable ball head here. So how they imagined we would use this, or whoever would buy it would use it, is tripod. Here's their bracket, and I like MagSafe ones, but this one is more secure. They also didn't cheap out on the phone holder. They have the levers on the side here. So you're not like pulling up from here and eventually breaking it like you would with any other phone mount. And then this magnetic side is for the monitor. Nice and easy. You toss your phone in and you're ready to rock. So this is a pretty comprehensive package for the average person. A lot of people don't even want to bother with microphones. They're just going to want to see themselves. And the iPhones and most cell phones nowadays do a pretty good job at picking up pretty clear audio, even when there's wind outside somehow. This does leave you with enough real estate to connect a microphone, to connect something on the cold shoe up top. It's also got another cold shoe on the bottom. See if you can see it there, block my face. And of course, you're not limited to this rig, but this is one of the two configurations. The second one being one that has a handle for anyone who buys the SmallRig cage for their phone, which I don't do because that's too much even for me, honestly. Now, connecting this to your phone, I was a little annoyed, but they do this a lot better than most. And I'm gonna see, hopefully this will be easy for you guys to see. So you turn it on, and then you'll see a QR code that you can scan. And what that'll do is it'll allow you to connect immediately. Now, I already connected my phone, and this is the other thing I like about it. It'll just connect automatically. So all I have to do now is cast it like I would cast pretty much anything else. And boom, my screen is officially mirrored. And it'll mirror, anything. It's a pretty fast and fairly painless process. And because it uses the phone's Wi-Fi connection, I think the range is pretty good and the latency isn't really all that bad. Like, yeah. Latency is pretty good. I haven't had like a serious problem with it just yet. Let me move real fast. How was that? I'm dizzy now, I'm getting old. You can of course just use this on your phone, but this is the part, so this is the thing that I don't like. I have to flip it around in order for things to be proper. Let's see if you guys see this the way I do. And how that's done is by tapping the power button twice, and then it'll flip the image around. Now, the thing is, now, let me bring this camera here so you can see it. So now, what am I looking at? I'm getting confused now, looking at the camera, wondering where mine is, but it's right here. So now we're on the same side. That's not a problem. But if you want to record it this way and it becomes a problem when we get into gimbals and whatnot, you double tap, you're upside down. You want to be right side up, you got to turn it this way. What happens when you turn it this way? You're blocking the lens. That doesn't really help anyone. So you got to put it back this way and either be upside down. Let's double tap. What the hell? Hold on, I don't understand what just happened. Hey guys, Future Omar here, editing this video right now. Now, I just want to touch base on this. If you're using the regular camera app, which I almost never do, so that's what kind of threw me for a tizzy there. This is actually, the problem you're about to see isn't actually a problem, but if you use the Blackmagic app, that's when it becomes a problem. And it's SmallRig, so I feel like a lot of people who buy this are probably going to use the Blackmagic app. They state that it's not going to be a problem with the Blackmagic app. But there is a small problem when you're using it with the Blackmagic app, but I guess like it doesn't matter if you don't use it. So then, you can ignore this next section. ND filter. This way I'm exposed right and everything looks good on the Blackmagic app. So you see how my camera is upside down. Double clicking the power button to flip it gives you a reverse image. So now I'm mirrored here, and it's fine for framing. It's fine for framing, but it's still disorienting, and I don't see a reason why I'm moving it left and the image is moving right because, again, it's flipped. Because I need to view it this way, but then, again, you run into strong magnets. You run into the problem where you cannot mount it this way. It just doesn't work out. It does have a 1/4-inch screw, but getting like a rig around this just defeats the minimalist approach. So that's again my issue. And with this setup, I actually didn't remember to bring my gimbal to show you, but so we know all phone gimbals suck, right? Like they can barely hold the phones. If you have even a small screw-on lens, it's not going to happen. They sure as hell do not hold this ND filter. Like they will not hold this configuration at all. And for something that markets itself for mobile filmmaking, which, I understand it's a marketing term, they're all really kind of crappy as a result of that. That is a chipmunk. So that's not great. And that is really my only gripe with this system. Because you have to flip it over on something like the RS4 or pretty much any gimbal, unless you adjust all the way to the side, if you even have that option, you're gonna be banging into one of the axis arms and you can't shoot that way. If you wanna use it to like track you while you're talking or to track someone who's talking, which is a really nifty feature that the mobile gimbals have, you simply will not be able to do it. But if you're someone who doesn't mind filming like this in the Blackmagic app, or you don't use the Blackmagic app, or you use the Blackmagic app and you don't mind using it in SLR mode, which ends up flipping the screen, which is what's needed when you connect an SLR lens to it. Little too many steps there, because again, like here's what the setup is supposed to be. I'm at a convention or something, in my pocket. Oh, hey, cool. That looks cool. Let's go. Filming. I want to say something myself. I turn it and I can see myself, you know, perfectly framed and everything. It's not perfect. I prefer having something like this over something like this, but sometimes you can't even bring in a bag in certain areas. So carrying the phone and then just a small microphone is going to be better off than carrying one of those and then potentially drawing attention to yourself. Someone will come up to you and say, sir, no cameras allowed, even though all phones have cameras. It just gets really annoying. Again, dark, let me raise the ISO on this thing or turn the ND off. Let's see if that'll work. Oh, can't do that while I'm filming? That's very odd. Hold on. All right, something tells me I'm a little too overexposed, so let's stop it down a bit. Where was I? Yeah, so if you don't care about any of that, then this is fine. Like this monitor alone definitely has the longest lasting battery out of all of them, and it's definitely the most robust. Like I think if you drop this, you'll be okay. It's the only one that has a built-in 1/4-inch thread if you want to mount this somewhere and put it on a clamp, say if you're doing overheads or if you're doing a wider shot where your phone is far away from you and you want to keep this off screen somewhere, you can use a clamp it to the bottom of a table and you still have eyes on it. All of these make these a really decent production tool. From a production perspective, like if you're not concerned with vlogging, I actually think this is probably the best kit out there. But, and this is why I'm a little upset at SmallRig, this no-name brand, I don't even know who they are, and I feel like they have a couple of knockoffs. They solve that problem. Because what this one does, well, it does two things. First off, you turn it on, and there is no Wi-Fi. You just casted this thing directly. So here it is. You're selecting, turns on, that's it. And now it's mirroring. You can see that right there. I can launch whatever app I want from there. And boom. Now, the other thing about this is, let me set this on the side for now. There we go. You can see, like, I'm framing myself right now, and I don't even know how long this would take if I didn't have pretty much any one of these monitors. So this one, what's special about it, and I think SmallRig should definitely include this in the next iteration, is you can both mirror and flip the screen, which allows you to keep the lens mounted in any direction that you want, thus solving the problem that I have with this, especially when I'm mounting to a gimbal or something. And it also remembers your settings, so I don't have to do this every time I turn this thing on. I just turn it on, I cast, and I go. Battery life on this one's also okay. I'll toss links to the entire SmallRig kit, but also to this, because again, I don't even know what the brand is. You know, let me look it up real quick. It's kind of amazing that I can look it up on the camera that I'm using today because the camera is my phone. This is the Mage X Phone Vlog Selfie Monitor. No one's going to remember that name. And that's really what it comes down to. If you're looking for something to vlog with specifically, this is the one I'm going to recommend. But if you're looking for like a proper production tool, this is probably going to be better just because it's got a longer battery life. It's more robust. You can see this probably won't break. Well, you know, it might crack, but it won't break the first fall. This one, I think it's a one and done. I hope not, but you're asking for a lot. This is a really small one. It's got a smaller footprint as well. But ultimately, it's kind of cool to see how far phone production tools have gone, I mean, people make their careers nowadays on cell phones, and a lot of people are looking for specialized point and shoot cameras like the one I'm shooting on right now, specifically for content creation. And for the record, I still think having a dedicated camera is a lot better for a lot of reasons. When it comes to thermal management, when it comes to files not being lost, when it comes to having a separate device that doesn't get notifications and cancels your recording, tons of reasons. But that's $1,000 investment versus like a $60 or $70 investment, probably less when more companies start jumping on the bandwagon and making their own iterations of these. Ultimately, it's just cool that we have the option for this, and that is pretty much it for the video. You know the deal. Like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you think you're going to pick one up. And as always, catch you at the next one. See ya.